Welcome back, everyone, to GSL July's Co Day. We are at the final session here for the round of 32. I am Unstable, joined here by Torch. We just saw a pretty intense TVT. It was a little bit one-sided, but we'll go straight into another mirror matchup now. ZVZ, Slayers, YugiOh versus Startail, Curious. What do you think we're going to see out of these guys, Torch?
I really don't know. ZVZ is not my expertise, but a lot of interesting games do come out, as we were talking about before the break. July versus Nesty yesterday was an amazing series. Definitely go check that out if you haven't yet. A lot of different units that you haven't seen in ZVZ. Maybe we might see them again today.
We might indeed. ZVZ tends to trend a lot more than other matchups these days. It tends to be one style a little bit, and it changes a little bit, and keeps on going. And I'm really looking forward to how it turns out in another 6-12 months' time. Yeah,
that's very true. The game, as we keep saying, is constantly evolving. But along with evolving, we do have player here, Slayer's YugiOh. He's the Zerg player, as we were talking about. He apparently has great defensive skills and adopts well to his opponent's strategies. Curious is a very solid Zerg player. He does get to train with July almost every single day.
So, unfortunately for Slayers, MMA did bow out yesterday, so hopefully YugiOh can get one back for him. We're advancing in the round of 16 here, and here we have Startail's Curious. Confident, very strong and confident Zerg in his team. Has to show his skill on stage. Interesting.
Yeah, he has played a lot in the GSTL, a little bit in the GSL so far, but hasn't posted any serious results quite yet. He is one of Startail's stronger Zergs, but in saying that, there aren't a whole lot of Zergs on Startail right now. However, one of them being July, so he does have a lot of really good Zerg practice there. A little bit of laughing going on, I don't know. There's a lot of k in the chat right now.
But that's alright, so these guys are going to be facing off in this evening, starting off on Terminus. And it's going to be very interesting to me how this map plays out, because you don't very much see a lot of Zergs tend to veto it a lot just because it is so very abusable by a lot of other races. And it's very difficult for them, but I don't know, I just can't wait to see these games.
Yeah, I agree. And, on this map, you do have a very fast third, but after your third, it's really hard where you're going to go. You kind of need to hide an expansion, or if you have a really, really strong lead, you can bottleneck your opponent in outside of his third, and then you do have map control. It does come down to that map control a lot. As we were saying, Terminus Re is the first map. After that, it will go to Tal'Darim Altar, another large map for the Zerg players. And if we do go to a third map, we have Belcher Beach, the new version of it. It's actually a really interesting map. I do like a lot of the improvements that have been made to it. It's nice to see that GSL constantly tries to improve the map pool in addition to improving everything else that we can for you guys.
Yep, absolutely. I really have to stress how important it is that they do get feedback from the players.
Yes.
They want to make it better, they want to take in and make the best maps that they possibly can, but they cannot do that without the pro players' feedback. And that's exactly what they've done with Belcher Beach. It was a little bit of a one-sided map towards Zerg, a lot of people thought, and they've gone and changed, and I think it's turning out to be a really interesting map.
Yeah, and the balance is really good, but then you also have the aesthetic value of it. It's really nice to see different-looking maps, so that's actually more the feedback from you guys at home. So let us know what you like to see, and that can actually be incorporated in a lot of the maps that we use here.
Can indeed. GSL. So the match is going to start up now. We'll get into it any second.
Maybe.
We'll see how we go.
Any minute.
Yeah.
Never know how this is going to go. No. Always a variety show here. Koreans love their variety shows.
Alrighty, here we are loaded up. We do have close positions on this map. Over here on the 9 o'clock, we have the Red Zerg hailing from Slayers. He is
Slayers YugiOh.
Of course, anyone who doesn't know, that is the actual card game.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to ask John.
And of course, his opponent up here at the 12 o'clock position now, Blue Zerg hailing from Startail.
Startail Curious.
I guess that's what he does when he's thinking. He doesn't point to his mind, he points to his cheek.
Alrighty, so as we jump in here, we do see a fairly... thank you, Torch. Bring up the production tab on my screen over here. But these guys are going to see each other, or have already seen each other as the Overlords have passed over. Just going to give them a lot of information. Personally, I like it when you can see games like this where they know exactly what's going on. It can be a lot of mind games as well. But we do have a 14-14 here coming out from Curious, but a fast expand from YugiOh.
So as this happened earlier in the GSTL, we are going to have a lot of units and Larva coming out here for YugiOh, but Curious is going to have that tech advantage early on, and he can put a lot of pressure on YugiOh. Maybe try to take out a lot of the drones with some early early speedlings, or try to get some roaches up. Really has a lot of options depending on where he wants to go with the game.
Yeah, well, we'll come down to if he wants to be aggressive. He has gotten a little bit lucky. Is the closer of the positions. It's still a very long rush distance, but both these guys know exactly what's going on now as their overlords are about to park over the hatcheries. The upside to this for Curious is he does have a queen on the way right now, so that overlord cannot stay as long, but he has actually planted a baneling nest,
and that
which
baneling
YugiOh
nest
has
scouted.
seen.
Yep.
So now he's got the option of, did he think that YugiOh saw that? And he might be able to change his mind up. And on the other hand, YugiOh might think it's a fake.
Well, he did throw it on the far edge of his creep, so if the Overlord were a little bit further, he might not have seen that.
Yep.
But I'm sure Curious does know that the baneling nest did get scouted. It's also, there's no scouting of a fast expansion from Curious, so YugiOh is probably going to be expecting it anyway, and Curious is just like, well, you know what I'm going to do, but I don't care, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, he is actually throwing down a spine crawler in his main here right now. We do have 6 links coming across the map for Curious. But he should be pretty safe. With that spine crawler positioning, he should be able to pick off 1 or 2 banglings as they come through. He's already got 4 being morphed. A very quick timing here. He can pretty much ignore this expansion, go straight for the mineral line. We do have 2 Zerglings for YugiOh coming out. Seeing these banglings pop, he's going to have a couple more. And oh! Very close. He needs to be careful. He's got these Zerglings working on the banglings one at a time. He's trying to get them. Oh, this is not what he wanted to happen. Does take out 2 of the banglings. The spine crawl is done as well. Curious has not seen it just yet. Oh, sorry, he has with that Overlord. He's got 1 link coming in, trying to do as much damage as he can. Keeping these banglings over in the corner. I like this control by YugiOh.
Yeah, it was a really nice positioning. He set up a nice net of the Zerglings. Wherever the banglings went, they were going to take some hits. These banglings aren't going to be able to do the economic damage they needed to. Oh, very nice explosion there, taking out 4 Zerglings. Still pretty even on the economic front, though.
Yeah, they are both at 15 drones to 16 in favor of Curious, but YugiOh has his expansion now. He's moving his spine crawler down to the front. He's going to have a big advantage. Curious now going for his own expansion, so he needs to catch back up in that production value. He's getting a lot more Zerglings.
Yeah, while their economies are similar, Curious is slightly ahead on the tech, so he has already invested the resources into that and doesn't need to later on. But the larva count for YugiOh is going to allow him to get a lot of these Zerglings up. And he also does have an earlier speed than Curious does. Curious's speed is almost finished, but it looks like some of these Zerglings are going to get caught in the open before it does.
Yeah, he needs to turn around and attack those. It's pointless running away from speedlings. But notice there are 2 banelings coming up into the main ramp. 1 gets taken out by that spine crawl. Unfortunately, you need more than 1 to finish that off. And baneling finishes, takes out a lot of YugiOh's Zerglings, but he still has about 5 to 6 links. He's going to go to work on that expansion. That baneling did not get anywhere close to where he wanted it to in that main. He's got more units popping now, and he was going to be able to defend his hatchery. Yeah,
that baneling spawning right on the top of the ramp was perfect for Curious. It allowed him to just finish off the wall with the rest of his Zerglings, and as soon as that baneling was done, he was able to take out a lot of the Zerglings from YugiOh. Didn't finish off the full force, but just enough that his reinforcements were able to force him back.
Yeah, YugiOh trying to take advantage of the fact that he does have more production at the moment, sending 1 unit at a time, trying to pick off as many banelings as he can. But he can also go to work on this hatchery here as well. It is up, so he's going to get that production up
and really nice control by YugiOh here. He's pulling off the exact number of Zerglings, just enough so that if the banelings were to fight against them, they wouldn't be efficient in this fight. And it is baneling versus baneling. This is a pretty disgusting battle here going on, but it's exactly what YugiOh wants at this position.
Yeah, it does look indeed, but there are a lot of things now being poured down from the main. There is still 1 baneling here for YugiOh being focused down by that queen, and oh, very close by Curious there, almost getting a big patch of links, and these guys very even in the micro war here. Having a look back at the bases though, we are seeing 15 drones to 18. So it looks like Curious has squeezed out 1 or 2 drones during all of this. It looks like he's going to be safe here. He does have 2 queens down at his natural, a couple of banelings there as well. And YugiOh just sitting at the front of his natural now, making a few more banelings, trying to get in there and get the advantage, but he's going to be very careful as 1 wrong click will change all.
That is very true. This battle is about to start. There's a very nice explosion there, taking out a baneling and a bunch of Zerglings. The rest of the Zerglings are going to fight against Curious's Zerglings, but those banelings do come in and scare them away. 1 baneling exploding without doing any damage. This is a really nice defense by Curious right now. However, the banelings are going to try to get up the ramp. No, they do back off and all explode on those queens without doing any serious damage.
Nice job by Curious there. None of those banelings did any damage. He still has the Zergling count, making 4 more banelings, and it looks like YugiOh is going to go home.
Yeah, this is a very tense time right now. If Curious is able to defend this nicely, it is going to pull him back up into the economic lead. It is 40 supply for Curious compared to 34 for YugiOh. So Curious has come back slightly from being down early on. Their worker counts are exactly the same at 23 right now. So really good position from Curious, but the game is not over quite yet.
Yeah, as soon as YugiOh pulled back, both of them just started making nothing but drones. Good timing by both of them here. Curious is going to work on the rocks down into the third, but I think he has seen all these Zerglings and Banelings come out. He still does have that position.
Yeah, and YugiOh doesn't quite know that these rocks are going down. Once they do, it's going to give Curious a lot of opportunities. Oh, he does scatter right now. The Banelings are going to be coming in, but they're not going to be able to kill the Zerglings that he needs to.
No, he's just got a couple of Banelings just running side by side here in the middle of the map now, trying to take him out one Zergling at a time. Ooh. It's a very close match. We do have the Roach Warren down now for YugiOh. If he can survive until he gets 2 or 3 of those out, he will be able to focus down those Banelings.
And these rocks are going down, but it looks like the Roaches will be out in time to be able to defend the natural of YugiOh against Curious's Zerglings. However, it is still a good idea to get those rocks down as soon as you can. Gives you a lot of options later on in the game.
Nice job here by YugiOh picking off this one Baneling with just one Ling. That's exactly how he wants to trade it. We do not see a Roach Warren at all here from Curious just yet. He needs to notice this, otherwise the quick transition into a lot of Roaches can severely hurt him. They're still fighting in the middle here, but YugiOh coming off second best, pulling back. There are 3 more Banelings coming through here.
That is very true. Curious doesn't have the Roach Warren up quite yet, but he does have a lot of gas stockpiled. So it does give him the option to go into a lair or get that Roach Warren if he needs to. These Roaches have been scouted of YugiOh by Curious, so he will be able to decide where he's going to respond with it right now.
He's actually been droning up a lot. He's now at 41 to the 24 of YugiOh. He's thrown down a few spine crawlers. He really wants to be safe against these Roaches counterattack that's coming through here.
It's a really good positioning by the Spine Crawlers. He is able to put Banelings in the gaps between them, so no Zerglings can run through.
Looks like YugiOh is going to try and take out the back rocks yet again with those Roaches. I thought he will be able to take it down a lot quicker than before. And that is going to leave an open spot here on the left from Curious's base. He doesn't have as many Spine Crawlers there, and it is going to be very advantageous for YugiOh to come through from that angle, not being attacked by as many Spine Crawlers as the Curious wants, but both these guys continuing to drone. We're at 31 to 45 now. Curious still in the lead, but he has actually not gotten anything else. He's not going for a lair, which we do see coming from YugiOh.
Yeah, YugiOh is going for the higher attack with the Roach Warren and the lair going up. Also an Evolution Chamber, so he can get those upgrades, which will be crucial. It looks like Curious is just going to try to go for a huge Baneling army here and just push in. However, now he is getting the lair right now.
There you go. He does have the economy count as well, 47 to 36. He does have quite a few Banelings at the front there. Needs to be careful not to get picked off by these Banelings coming up here from YugiOh as well. Looks like the Banelings have gotten around the side. One gets into the mineral line, but all those Banelings explode on those Roaches. Not what he wanted to happen.
They exploded on the Roaches, hurting them a little bit. Not exactly the most damage that you can do right there, but does weaken them enough that these Zerglings can come in. Since all the Zerglings from YugiOh were taken out, these Roaches are going to go down, and that is going to force YugiOh back to his base. So
Curious in a very strong spot right now. He has a lot of Spine Crawlers in defense. Actually cancels one to get those resources back. YugiOh actually getting +1 attack and defense for his Roaches here. He's getting an Overseer to see exactly what's going on. The lair is now just about to finish for Curious, and I want to see which way he wants to go for it once he hits lair tech.
Yeah, he does he is going to be forced to do something, because with YugiOh on lair tech with Roaches, he can get a lot of upgrades for those units. Curious maybe is going to go for Infestors to try to keep them down. Or we actually do see a Spire going up here, so he will be able to get some Mutalisks out, force a lot of the units of YugiOh to stay in his base. Those Roaches really can't go out into the open field with the Mutalisks flying around, doing constant damage to them. And both players going for a third because they realize that they can't do any serious damage to their opponent. They need to both back off and just build up their economy.
But Curious actually just killed that hatchery. It did not get a cancel off by the looks of it. I only just got there right as it died. But we do have more Roaches coming through. The one downside to having this Muta play is he's very open to Roach counterattacks, but he has so many Spine Crawlers he doesn't have to worry about that. He's even moving some down here to the third, where he is puking down some creep to get them there ASAP. And he's yet again forced another cancel on the third. Great play by Curious so far. Yeah,
and Curious is also throwing up this Infestation Pit right now, so he's going to have both the Air Army and the Infestors to hold the Roaches in the middle of the field if they do get caught there.
Do we have these Roaches trying? They don't have speed just yet. Actually, yes, they do.
And this Overseer is going to try to get some vision of Curious's base, but he's going to just stay on the fringe. not be able to get any nice information, but really nice baneling play by Curious right there. He did take out a lot of the units, and in addition to that, he took out some of the larvae, which prevents any more units from coming out from YugiOh.
There we go. We do have a transfer of a lot of these drones over to this third, but a lot of roaches coming through now. The Hydra Den going down for YugiOh as well. 13 mutas in production for Curious. So he's got these 3 spine crawlers, quite a few lings and banelings as well, forcing YugiOh to rethink his decision here. There is nowhere near enough roaches to push through here.
But if he doesn't push through very soon, he is going to fall very far behind since Curious's third is up. The banelings do go in. They do they take out a ton of the banelings from Curious. However, a lot still get through. A lot of these roaches are softened up. They are going to be forced back otherwise. This large Mutaforce is going to be able to come in and just chase these guys all the way back home. Don't know how far they're going to get. They're just slowly going down. 1, 2, 3, 4.
He will lose all those roaches, but he does have 9 Hydras in production. He does have +2 missile attacks coming as well. Roach Speed now finally in production. He's also got a couple of Spore Crawlers in the Mineral Lines, so he is going to be able to defend against these mutas very well.
Yeah, he is going to be able to defend his main and his natural against these mutas, but he's not going to be able to move out on the map like he really wanted to. The mutas are going to come in here and see what sort of damage they can do. That is a lot of Mutalists. They might just target down the Spore Crawler, excuse me. He's not Brood War.
Right, he doesn't have range yet on those Hydras. We do have Pathogen Glands coming out here for Curious. It's about halfway done, so we do see quite a bit of gas being stockpiled for him. He wants to get as many Infestors out as he can. A lot of Spine Crawlers still going down. He's actually taking a 4th over here on the right-hand side at the same time.
And that's really good for Curious. He does know that he does have the map control, so he can get that economic lead. Just doing a little bit of damage here on the third, forcing the drones not to be harvesting right now.
He's done an amazing job of keeping that third down and out for this entire time. He has so many Spine Crawlers, he's going to be completely safe against any kind of counterattack. We've got 4 Infestors on the way. They will actually come out with the upgrade. He's getting +1 melee attacks for his Lings, so it looks like we're going to see a Ling Muta Infestor.
Yeah, he did save up a lot of that gas early on. He stayed as just the right amount of banelings to defend, but not too many that he wasted his gas early on, and he was able to get a later layer, but once he did get the layer, he got a lot of upgrades. But now the Mutalists are going to go back into this battle. They are just going to focus down that Spore Crawler and take out this Queen. All those drones are going to need to run away, but a lot of them are going to die before those Hydras are going to be able to get in here and defend.
Yeah, he's going to be finally forced out, but he did lose a lot of units there. A couple of Mutalists did fall. They're looking at 62 drones here for Curious.
And meanwhile, the Zerglings did go into the third and take it down once again.
He's actually getting a Queen at the natural as well. These Lings doing an amazing job here for Curious. He's just keeping YugiOh always on the back foot, and now he's just taking a 5th.
Yeah, Curious looking very confident in this game. He's going up to a Hive even, just knowing that he has the defense going on. He's got an economic lead. He's got almost 5 bases against only 2 right now for YugiOh. YugiOh is going to be looking very scared, just going to try to do one last attack with these Hydras and Roaches moving across the field right now.
Interestingly enough, we do see him taking the Rich Vespine. So it's not a Rich on this particular version of the map. It's always changing. It confuses me.
Yeah, it confuses the players too.
But he has taken these gas over here, so he will have a lot of gas for that Hive Tech. We did see this in the game at July vs Nesty. Very quick Hive Tech, and he's coming in here for another attack. There's quite a few Roaches, and he does see those Infestors. But here we go, nice fungal growth on all of those Roaches. He's just going to be able to come in here one at a time and just continually fungal. There is too many Infestors. This could be a final-ditch effort here by YugiOh. Infested Terrans going in behind the Hydras, nowhere to run, and he's now going to have a 50... Sorry, even more. GG.
Yeah, that looked very, very bad for YugiOh. He did get starved early on by Curious. When they both went for their thirds, Curious was able to get up successfully and win the game.
He actually forced to cancel at least twice and then killed it later on for YugiOh's third, and that just kept him behind in the production, economy, everything.
Yeah, very nice control by Curious that game. Exciting to see play like that. It was interesting because, as I was saying before, he did save up a lot of his resources early on. He was playing very defensively after they both got their second up, after they both got their second base up, so they were able to save the resources so that when they did get up to the third base and the tech pattern for the layer, he did have a lot of gas left over to give him a lot of options.
Yeah, they also had very good timing. As soon as YugiOh backed off, and Curious just knew there was going to be no more aggression coming because it started straight into drones. Even before then, he was sneaking out 1 or 2 drones every few minutes, and it really gave him a good lead going into the later game.
Yeah, even though he was behind on that expansion early on, he did, as you were saying, keep the drone count up. almost equivalent to YugiOh or 1 or 2 ahead. And that slight little advantage really snowballed later in the game.
Yeah, it's something that people praise July for. He just somehow always gets more drones, and he's starting to teach that to Curious by the looks of it.
Yeah, they sit next to each other in the practice room. They get a lot of practice together. Yep. Assuming July isn't in the GSL finals or something, just forcing Curious to get his water when he's practicing. But it looks like Curious might be able to force July to get his water now.
Yeah, as July unfortunately did not advance in the Code S last night. But in a very interesting group, but he has not dropped down, so he will be back.
Yes. And he had some really nice games if you haven't checked them out. We keep saying that, but it was an amazing ZVZ, and it would be really nice to see if we see something like that in today's game.
I kind of expected something like that to happen once we saw the Hive coming out. I was hoping it would go a little bit longer just to see that again, but we'll see how we go in Game 2. It is going to be on Tal'Darim Altar.
Yep, on Tal'Darim Altar, it is a larger map like the last one, so we might see that Hive Tech like you were talking about.
Yep. All right.